Unless if you want to be broadcasted, it can be broadcasted.
Did you say no?
No, they prefer if everyone's here, so they record you.
Yeah.
I don't mind, whatever you want to do.
If you want to be broadcasted, we can. But don't let them know right now.
Yeah, they can come. But I'm thinking at least
They can start voice.
Yeah.
So we can on the way you can listen to us.
maybe once the streams on YouTube.
And so that I can introduce them.
Yeah.
Okay, so we can go into the YouTube. So we can see them. It's how it is.
I know, he's good. Good techie.
Thank you.
YouTube. Facebook. Okay. The more the merrier. 5 minutes. Yes. That's
We can
fine.
sing
Yes.
we can do Jai Radhamada.
Oh, that's wonderful. Yes.
Yeah?
Yes. Let me give it to you. Yes.
Oh, so
we're
don't
going-
even do Jai Radhamada? Yeah. Wait for you. Okay. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna. Hare Krishna. Who wants to be a Vaishnava? I can, this is a beautiful painting. I noticed when we were here before that you have of Prabhupada on the Javaduta.
Yes.
So this is the first time visiting Phoenix, huh?
This is our first time, yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
I know. But see, this is October.
Well, actually, this is our second time. We came on Monday.
Passing.
We passed through on Monday and we had darshan, beautiful darshan, and we met with Mother Premadatu Devi, and yeah, it was very nice, very beautiful, very inspiring.
That's actually an original painting.
That's original.
Okay, that's an original. It wasn't usually here for one sample, but that's an original.
Beautiful.
Yeah, very beautiful.
Yeah, Mother Premadatu mentioned that you've got land to build another temple now as well. Well, that's the foundation.
And it's been taking a long time. Architects and the city, and for everything, that's not a good one. We love a lot of words about it. That they come because we have 4 awards for the year of the
Beautiful.
and so all those programs actually I held by the
Police.
and juvenile. And as a matter of fact, this is one of our longest programs, right? Just because the children have so many questions for us. And one child, I don't remember who that was. Yes. So, are you ISKCON's police officer? And he said, like, my name is Theo. Yes. ISKCON's police. Yeah, no police officer. And so that is wonderful.
That's
And
good.
they like it actually. We have stand-up cars. They come for the mass meeting.
Oh, okay.
Oh, yeah, and that's the car. The streets.
Yeah, oh, Mother Premadatu is here.
Slowly people coming now.
Giving some responsibilities and customers kidnapped from us.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
And now we're going to inform it about the work here. We're going to inform the parents.
Hello, dear mother. Nice to see you again. I can't believe you came. You must be rushing. You must be rushing so much. How did the program is finished with Maharaj?
Yes, it's early program. It's never this early.
Oh.
Krishna has his class. Starting on Tuesday night at 10:30.
Oh my goodness.
And they stay there and after lunch. They do the best straight to the program. Yeah, but she has a
You're ready now? We're ready? Okay.
So let's do the Jai Radha Madhava for 5 minutes and then we'll do it.
Yes? Okay, that's fine. Ashirvad, Mataji, Ashirvad. Yeah, it was beautiful. Lovely.
Yes, yes.
Have kartas? Where's the kartas? You have kartas? I only have mridanga. I can play mridanga, but... Hare Krishna. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Radha Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivardhari Gopi Jana Jashoda Nandana Braj Janaranjana Shoda Nandana Braj Jashoda Nandana Braj Janaranjana Jamuna Tira Vanachari Jamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Radha Madhava Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Radha Madhava Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivardhari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivardhari Gopi Jana Vallabha Jashoda Nandana Braj Janaranjana Jashoda Nandana Braj Janaranjana Jamuna Tira Manachari Jamuna Tira Manachari Tira Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Radha Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jai Shri Radha Madhav Ki Jai Shri Radha Madhava Hari Ki Jai Nitai Gauda Premanandi Hari Hari Bo. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the lotus feet of Sri Guru and Sri Gauranga. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prastaya Bhutale Shrimati Radhana Swami Tinamani. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prastaya Bhutale Shrimati Bhaktivedanta Swami Tinamani. Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pacharane Nirvishesha Shanyavari Paschachadeshatanane. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, Prabhu. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Thank you so much for being here today on behalf of our founder Acharya, His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, and our presiding deity Sri Radha Madhava. Welcome to this very, very special program. Without the theme that they're going to be talking about, no program can take place. So I'm very thankful for you to be here. Particularly, I know that you were attending an earlier program, so driving all around the valley with the traffic, that's caring, right? So they are cared, that's why they came. Thank you. So a little bio on the Janitai and Baba Bhakti Prabhus. So His Grace Janitai Das is a second initiated disciple of His Holiness Radhanath Swami. Yes, he's your god brother. He joined ISKCON in 1998 from a professional background of consultancy in software development and testing in the investment banking industry. He spent 10 years in the Brahmachari ashram, heading up outreach and temple management. Now in the Grihastha ashram, he previously served as a temple president of ISKCON London for 14 years, a zonal supervisor for London and the Southeast and Euro RGB members, and Euro RGB ESIC chairman. For the last 3 years, he and his wife have focused on community development and devotee care internationally, traveling and teaching the devotee care course established and endorsed by the GBC. They recently established a devotee care office, DCO, at Bhaktivedanta Manor, initiated the UK National DCO. They are now based in New York City at the Bhakti Center, where they are establishing a devotee care office. Prabhu has conducted seminars and courses in universities, corporates, many temples, previously ILS, and is a faculty member of the GBC College. And just recently, just last week, he was actually giving a wonderful talk at the North American Leadership Conference, and it was very, very uplifting. And so happy that he's doing that. Of course, the GBC College and Her Grace Bhava Bhakti Devi Dasi, the second initiated disciple of also His Holiness Radhanath Swami, joined ISKCON in 1996 with a master's degree in English literature and psychology before pursuing a career in central government. She previously served in a volunteer capacity as a temple administrator, charity secretary, mentorship coordinator of ISKCON London, as well as daily service, cooking, and communications. She assisted in setting up and running the Devotee care offices in Bhaktivedanta Manor and the Bhakti Center. She currently travels globally with her husband to present seminars courses on a myriad of Bhakti subjects, including the Devotee care course, to various audiences, which has included the ISKCON Leadership Sangha in Mayapur. We are indeed very fortunate to have them with us today. And we so much appreciate your time you're making just this time for us. Really, really appreciate it. Thank you so much. With that, I pass the mic to you. Hare Krishna.
Om Ganatividandasya Yananjana Shalakaya Chakshurumilitangena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Stapitam Gena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Parakamalam Shri Guru Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathan Vitam Tam Zajivam Sarvetam Savadutam Harijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padam Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakan Vitamsha Hey Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dina Bandhu Jagatpate Gopisha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurange Radhe Vrindavaneshwari and Vishamanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha Kalpataru Yascha Kripa Sindhu Vyevacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki jai, Jai Nitai Gaura Premanandi, Hari Hari Bol. So we would like to begin by first expressing our deep gratitude and appreciation to Shammohini Devi for inviting us, Mother Premadhatri for facilitating us, and for also all of you for rushing here after a program already with Maharaj, and then you're coming here to sit. So we just are deeply grateful to all of you and inspired in so many ways by your dedication and your facilitation. So we'd like to thank you all very much for taking your valuable time to be here. I'm sure in Phoenix, which is a bustling city, you could be doing so many things on a Friday night? Thursday night. On Thursday night, I'm sure you could be doing anything, but you decided to come here. So thank you. Thank you. Hare Krishna. If I were you, I would be playing with my friends somewhere. I'd be sitting here. So amazing. Hare Krishna. So, we just chanted the Mangalacharanam prayers, and while we were chanting, I was remembering we were present when Mother Jamuna came and visited London. and some years ago, and she shared with us a story about the Mangalacharanam prayers. How in the early days, Govinda Dasi Devi was instructed and invited by Srila Prabhupada to transcribe and type up his texts. And she said to Srila Prabhupada, "But Prabhupada, I can't really type, and I'm not so good at all of this." And then Srila Prabhupada said, "You can chant these prayers," and he showed her the Mangalacharan prayers. He said, "You can chant these prayers before you start. And if you chant these prayers with a sincere heart, Krishna will hear you and he will help you." So ever since she taught us that, I just thought, before I start anything, I have to try my best to chant these prayers with a sincere heart and pray that Krishna will help us because we need help. So anyway, thank you all very much. We're going to discuss devotee care tonight, and we hope probably all of you already knew that anyway, so we're going to discuss devotee care.
Okay. Those who think that devotion to God and kindness to the jivas, souls, are mutually different from each other and perform accordingly in their life, such persons will not be able to follow the devotional culture. Their performances are only a semblance of devotion. Therefore, all the types of beneficence to others, like kindness, friendliness, forgiveness, charity, respect, and so on, are included in bhakti. The actions of respect, friendliness, and kindness are the very form of love and the characteristic portion of bhakti. Charity of medicines, clothes, food, water, etc., shelter during adversities, teaching of academic and spiritual educations, etc., are the activities included in the devotional culture. So, does anyone know where this is from? Has anyone heard it before or seen it or read it? Any guesses where it could come from or who's speaking?
Prabhupada.
It's a good guess, but it's a good guess.
Bhagavatam?
No, that's another good guess. But encouraging.
These are the scholars here.
Kapila Dev?
Kapila Dev? No? Who said? What, could you say it a little louder? Ooh. Yeah. So this is a quote from Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur. So this, many, many years ago, generations for us, our great-grandfather, great-great-great-grandfather, spiritual master, teaching like this. Anyone is a little surprised by this? Anything stood out to them? No? Everyone is like, okay. Yes, Mother?
I would say, kindness of the charity, because sometimes we think that while these charitable activities, they're actually not practice, and there's always a conflict on these ones.
So she was saying about the charity. By the way, your sound person, your technician here is amazing. We have a round of applause for this. I don't think I've ever been to an ISKCON temple anywhere that is so organized technically. And it works. I mean, sometimes it's very organized, but that doesn't work. The mic stand is falling over, so this is amazing. Very nice. So Mataji was saying that, yes, sometimes we hear that doing charity, even Srila Prabhupada will often talk about philanthropy as almost like Maya. Yes, that this is even though it may be in the mode of goodness, but still it can entrap us, and it can be performed in a way that is not really conducive to spiritual growth and spiritual development. He even talks about, the Gyanis who may achieve Brahman, but they fall down to open hospitals and do all of these different isms. So to hear one of our acharyas speak like this, I feel is quite profound. And also we do understand that actually at no point really is charity meant to be given up. And Srila Prabhupada himself was doing so much in the beginning for so many people, with his own hands cooking, serving, cleaning up afterwards, for people who definitely were not devotees at that point. But he was preaching, and he was outreaching, and he was giving so much love. So this care has been shown. So we're going to be discussing building the future of ISKCON with care. And why do we need to build the future of ISKCON with care? Because ISKCON needs to be handled with care, because ISKCON is very delicate. Srila Prabhupada said, ISKCON is not different from my own body. So this institution, Srila Prabhupada spent so much time developing, and we're fortunate at the moment. We're staying in the Lower East Side of Manhattan, and we go regularly to 26 2nd Avenue, where Srila Prabhupada came and personally planted the seed of bhakti in the West. He put the seed in the earth at 26 2nd Avenue, and he was chanting and watering and praying and giving katha, watering that seed of bhakti, and now look how much that tree has grown and spread all over the world. So Srila Prabhupada his institution, the International Society for Krishna Consciousness, has to be handled with care.
But within ISKCON, we have the devotees. So even more so than the institution, we should handle with care the devotees, because as it says here, they're fragile. And fragile doesn't mean, so like, when you go traveling, maybe if my experience of going to India with family members, 1, 2, 3 suitcases and a box and this and that, and it has to be labeled and this and that, and fragile, handled with care. Not like that. It's that devotees are sensitive and they're precious, and in this way we handle them with care. We have to understand their feelings. If the way we interact with someone, as we were just saying, as I was talking to Mataji, it can make or break your spiritual life. And it can occur the first time you walk through the door, which means you'll never come back, or maybe 5, 10 years down the line, which is even worse when you've actually established yourself and something occurs. So the point, or in terms of the devotee care message, it is the project is important, and we have here, you're speaking about a new project, a new temple, but more than that, it's actually the missionaries in the mission. And if we take care of them in an individual way, because we're not all one, then the mission will just flourish like anything. If someone feels there is someone, at least one person that cares for me, it doesn't have to be everyone, but at least one person, or one person believes in me, or recognizes me, or just says hello to me, you'll be surprised how much of their life they will give just for that. So in that respect, yes, ISKCON, we want to make sure it's handled with care, but within that, the precious jewels that are very fragile, which are the devotees, should be definitely handled with care.
Maybe someone could read this, since we have a microphone that works. Any volunteers to do some reading? Anyone here has a beautiful voice? Okay.
The devotees of Krishna are most exalted persons on this planet, better than kings, all of them. So we should always remember that, and like the bumblebee, always look for the nectar or the best qualities of a person.
Wonderful. So this is from a letter. This is from Srila Prabhupada, and it's from a letter to a Treya Rishi in 1972. Now, some of you, I presume, many of you or all of you have read or are reading Srila Prabhupada's books. But you should also know, and you may already know, that Srila Prabhupada also wrote many, many letters of personal instruction. The Shastra, the scripture, is one thing, but his personal instruction and the way he dealt personally with each individual is very important. So this letter, if you take note of it, this letter, I cannot recommend reading it enough. I've read it in gatherings of leaders and senior devotees immense numbers of times, I can't even count. And every time, everyone is awestruck. So from this little statement, anything stands out to anyone? Anything you hear that you think, oh, what is that? Anything stood out to you when we read this? Yes, Prabhu, there's a mic. Actually, you not only have one roaming mic, you have two roaming mics, and they both work. Again, this is and he has another one. He's like a mystic yogi over here.
Thank you, Prabhu. So it's because it's written better than kings, all of them.
Yes.
So usually in this world we actually prefer skill over, devotion and everything.
Yeah.
So Prabhupada is valuing even that one spark somewhere.
Yeah, very beautiful. What's your name, Prabhu?
Ananta Chaitanya.
Ananta Shesh.
Ananta Chaitanya.
Oh, Ananda?
Ananta.
Ananta Chaitanya.
Thank you.
Very nice. Yes, you wanted to say something. We have the other mic?
I think you wanted to say something.
Oh, yes, please.
So the line that stood out to me was like the bumblebee. You always try to look for the best qualities in people,
Yes, yes.
ignoring the difference.
Both of these points. First, most times when we do this talk, almost everyone says better than kings. And somewhere in their mind they're thinking of that devotee that they don't really think is better than a king. We all have that a little bit. We think, but Srila Prabhupada doesn't say just the sannyasis. He doesn't say the GBCs. He doesn't say the gurus or the temple presidents or just this or just that. He says all of them. And this is a hard pill to swallow. It's not easy. We think, no, it can't mean everyone. He must mean like this, he must. But he says, no, all of them. Just like when the devotees asked Srila Prabhupada, how many pure devotees are there on the planet? And Srila Prabhupada said, how many disciples do I have? And they said, about 5,000, Prabhupada, but we're not pure devotees. And that's when Prabhupada made this famous statement, a mango is a mango. And the devotees were like, Jai Prabhupada. A mango is, and he said, a mango, whether it is green or whether it is ripe, it is still a mango. And he said, so the devotees, they're either pure devotees in practice or pure devotees in perfection. So as long as the mango, as long as the devotee in practice stays connected to the process, he is also a pure devotee. So in this way we can understand. Now this point about the bumblebee. Ooh, that is not so easy. It's not so easy. What is the other? Everyone knows this from Shastra, the scripture. You have the bumblebee, and the juxtaposition is the fly. And the bumblebee is always looking for the nectar. And the fly is looking for the garbage, the nasty things. And what's the other analogy? The swan and the crow. Perfect, thank you. Yes, the swan is swimming in the beautiful clear lakes with lotuses, and the crow is on the garbage heap, looking at the garbage. So it's like in the modern day, you have to have a half full or half empty mentality. How do you see the glass of water? So it's all about our consciousness. Our interactions with devotees, we have to, devotee care doesn't start with her or him. It starts with us. We have to be the change we want to see in the world. we have to make a change within ourselves, and we have to start to see the world differently. We have to see through the consciousness first of respect and appreciation and gratitude. And so therefore we start devotee care by approaching devotees with a mood of a bumblebee. Thinking you're better than a king. Prabhupada introduced this word, Prabhu. Now in the West, as a Western person, Prabhu, I heard Prabhu, whatever, it doesn't mean anything to me. But my Guru Maharaj, he told a story of two devotees in Mumbai that when they were told they have to address each other as Prabhu, because they were from Indian background and they had been good friends, for them to look at each other and say Prabhu. Because Prabhu, I'd say Prabhu. You know, we do like this in ISKCON, right? Hey Prabhu! Wash the dishes. Hey Prabhu! Move to the side. Right? Because we have no idea what Prabhu. These days I often say to devotees, thank you, my Lord. And they go, what, my Lord? I'm not my Lord. I'm like, but if I say Prabhu to you, it's the same. Prabhu means master. It means my Lord. You are my Lord, and I am your servant. Respect. Immediately Prabhupada introduced this mood of respect. So that's where devotee care starts, with this mood within ourselves of respect.
So here we have this phrase, the true meaning of life is to plant trees under whose shade you do not expect to sit. So, actually before I go on, what does this mean to everyone here? Selfless, yeah. Anything else?
Not doing anything with the mood of getting something back in return.
So I'm just going to repeat it. Not doing anything in the mood of receiving something back. Yeah, very nice, very nice. So we actually feel that this phrase, it encapsulates devotee care. Because as I was speaking earlier, sometimes when you speak about devotee care, it's almost like we get it often like, okay, so what are you going to do for us? What we get, and you're like, well, I don't have like some, when we go, it will be like utopia. It is, like it was said previously, it's like a seed or a point that occurs in someone's consciousness that this is a good idea. Maybe we should do this. And it actually is something that we may not see in our lifetime maybe, but by planting this mood, it means the next generation will grow up in a completely different environment, in a completely different consciousness and interaction with each other, but it starts now. So the point is that we don't, like you said, we're not doing this in a mood of, it will be, this time next month it will be amazing. It may be, it doesn't have, it may be, but it's with the understanding that we're doing something which is generational. And it's, but it requires a change of, just like, almost like a switch, a change of consciousness in us now to do that and to allow the next generation to actually enjoy the fruits of that.
There's a story from the Puranas of a king, and he was out touring his kingdom, and he came upon this elderly gentleman, and this elderly gentleman was planting coconut trees, and the king was kind of tickled, and he chuckled, and he asked this gentleman, "Sir, how old are you?" And he said, "My dear king, I am 96 years old." And the king said, "You're planting these trees. It will take minimum 10 to 15 years before you even get one coconut from that tree." And this gentleman looked at the king and he said, "I know. I'm not planting these trees for me. I'm planting these trees for them. And he pointed to his grandchildren. And he said, my grandfather planted that tree over there for me. And I lived my whole life from the coconuts from that tree. So therefore I'm doing the same thing for my grandchildren. And the king was overwhelmed because it's such a powerful statement to understand that he's not doing something for himself, he's being selfless. Sometimes it's like this, if you know bamboo, Chinese bamboo, some bamboo you plant and you want to use the bamboo, but 1 year goes by. Imagine, anyone here has done any gardening? Anyone ever planted anything to grow? Okay. If you're anything like me, I grew up on a little farm. So you planted it. There's nothing like that moment when you see that first little bit come up, right? You're like, woo! Yes! This is so exciting. Ooh, and you can't wait, and then you see it grow, and maybe it's like a eggplant or pepper plant or, radishes or beets or whatever it is, but you're thinking, oh, you're watching them, and you just can't wait until harvest. But imagine you plant this field of bamboo 1 year, 1 whole year, and you have to water, you have to maintain, you have to weed, nothing. 2 years, nothing. 3rd year, you wouldn't see me. I wouldn't be around. 3 years, 4 years, 5 years you have to wait. But then it's described that after 5 years, once that sprout comes within a matter of 6 weeks, it can be over 80 feet tall. So it's like this sometimes. When I was serving as temple president in London, we had a motto that sometimes it's not about how much it might cost. Not that that's not to be considered, but sometimes, or most of the time, it's about doing the right thing. It's about doing the dharmic thing. And if we do that, we found that every time we made the decision to do the right thing, somehow Krishna manifested the resources. So it's about doing the right thing, because it won't always be something that happens immediately. But we have to keep doing the right thing regardless.
So here we have the mission statement for the International Devotee Care Team. Our office is simple. Our mission is simple. We want every devotee to be spiritually happy, materially well situated, and positively identifying with ISKCON as a caring society. Does anything stand out? Does everyone agree with the statement? Every devotee. Okay. Anything else?
Nice. Mike? Yeah.
So that caring society speaks a lot, because it's not just about how we care for each other, but it's like it's how we identify with a certain organization. That's like the thing, because I can just say, like, this is not even within ISKCON, but there is like some of these Christian organizations, I think sometimes that's what really stands out, the way they treat each and every person that enters into that, whatever the presentation room is.
Yeah.
I've had that experience. So really it stands out how they treat each and every person, look in the eye. So I've always felt that there is definitely, like, I'm not again comparing against, but when you see that in other organizations, and if we kept that level here, it's like magnet. It's just attracting everybody into that society then.
Yes. Yes. Beautiful. Anything else?
Hare Krishna. Spiritually happy. That statement says that once you are spiritually happy, then everything else becomes redundant. it's not sustainable for a long time, spiritual happiness. I mean, it's come periodically maybe, or maybe when you are doing japa for some time. But if you are spiritually happy, everything else doesn't matter then.
So your statement, if I've understood you correctly, Prabhu, is that if one becomes spiritually happy, then everything else basically takes care of itself.
It really doesn't. It's not needed, like material happiness or caring for this is ISKCON or something else. But organization doesn't matter. But you're already connected now.
Beautiful.
Spiritually.
Beautiful. I like this because the last point that you said, that it goes beyond the organization. What is the goal or the point of the organization is to help one to become spiritually happy. The challenge. Like one good friend, he said, Srila Prabhupada came and he said, chant and be happy. He said, we got the chanting, we understand the be happy, it's the and that's difficult. The challenge is that most of us are not on such a platform. Of the 6 Goswamis, you can sleep under a different tree. Who here is happy to sleep under a different tree every night? We were just in the Grand Canyon, plenty of trees, plenty of caves, plenty of rocks. But not many people are prepared to do that. So therefore, and even different, because many people, and I really appreciate you highlighted the spiritually happy. And on the devotee care course that we do, we have a debate based on 2 quotes from Srila Prabhupada that seem to be completely contradictory. But the point being that materially well situated can mean many things. It doesn't mean necessarily being rich, but it means being situated materially in such a way that you can at least practice spiritual life like that. And that is something that's required. Also, it can refer to being materially situated in proper ashram, or understanding what your varna is so that you can engage in the mission properly. And we know Ramananda Roy, or Lord Chaitanya said to Ramananda Roy that this whole varna ashram is material. So in this way there are so many different things. But very, very important points, because yes, if one becomes actually spiritually connected, all of these things are actually obsolete. But how many people are on that level? And what do you do in the meantime? You have to cook, you have to feed, you have to eat, you have to sleep, you have to do all these things to look after. As Prabhupada said, just simply to keep body and soul together. Like that.
Maybe we also have to look at others too, those who are coming new into the organization, or so I'm just saying, like, we have to think about everybody too.
Yeah.
Yes. And that's so true. But it's not just the new people. There are people who've been 20, 30 years who are still struggling in different ways. Not in the same way, but yeah, it's totally true that we have to. And sometimes, as we'll discuss a little bit later, we see that there can be a false situation created for a way someone is meant to be, right? Or it's, as a young brahmachari, we were fired up, right? We used to go out on book distribution and we were like, yes, Raghunath Das Goswami didn't eat for days. And then he would just have a little buttermilk. So me and one other brahmachari, we were like, all we're going to eat is like yogurt and nuts. That's it. And so we started doing that, day 1, yeah, day 2, okay, day 3, I don't know about this. And by Sunday, we were like, hallelujah, Sunday feast ki jai. Now the principle is correct, but the application, that takes a delicate touch. And like many things, sometimes it will go like this, and then it's bo tia, right? Renounce and enjoy. So it's very delicate. But for everyone, their level is different. And sometimes you can't tell. Pundarik Vijayanidhi example always comes to mind. Gadadhar Pandit came and he said, why have you brought me here to see this sense gratifier laying on a chaise lounge, being fanned, looking in the mirror, wearing silk clothes and garments, just like a sense gratifier. But then they started to read Bhagavatam to him. And so everyone is different. It's very, very subtle. We can't judge just by the externals. Anyway.
So actually the formula of what I say formula, meaning a devotee care in one sense can be concluded in that if I please Krishna, or should I say, if I please Krishna, obviously that's why we're doing what we're doing, the deity worship, the chanting, the hearing, the reading. So if I can just please you, the devotees, then Radha Madhava Hare, yes, I got the name right, he will be pleased. They will be pleased. So actually devotee care in that sense, it's a very simple formula. It's like, just please the devotees, just care for the devotees. So here we have Krishna himself saying to Arjuna that, my dear Partha, one who claims to be my devotee is not so. Only a person who claims to be the devotee of my devotee is actually my devotee. So it's actually Krishna's actually setting out the essence, as it were, of devotee care. It's like, just look after my devotees. Just care for them. And you will be my devotee. And you'll please me. And there we go. That's actually the success of our life.
Srila Prabhupada said that everyone should be happy. This is Vedic civilization. Sarve Sukhino Bhavantu. And he said this is Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's mission, that everyone should be happy. But that's a big conversation. What does it mean to be happy? Spiritually happy? Materially happy? Balanced in happiness? What is really happy? We have to find that. It's like salt. Food, it's the hidden ingredient. If someone eats something nice, they don't say, perfect amount of salt. But as soon as it's not there, where's the salt? So it's like that. So finding what is happiness is very subtle. Okay, so we're going to now become a little more interactive. I think you said we could go on until 10 o'clock or something like that? 11. I'd like to hear, yes. So we need someone to be the scribe. Can someone be the scribe? Yes, you're closest, you can do. You have good handwriting? I've only ever seen one man in my life who has good handwriting. But yes, we can try. Okay. Let's just do one word.
So in one word, I was going to say or less, but no, in one word, what is devotee care to you in one word, if you were to say?
Compassion.
Compassion.
So you'll have to write very quick. Sorry, Prabhu, what is your name? Mohit. Okay, Mohit. Mohit's a hit. And Mataji at the back, your name? Sensitivity.
That's
okay.
It. Perfect.
Tolerance. She knows the truth. Yes. Humility. Yes. He is good at quick. What a community you have here. Yes.
Trust.
Trust.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Yes, Prabhu. Respect. Love it. Anyone else? 2 more. Generosity. Beautiful. Anyone else? Empathy. I love it. We got them. Okay, so these are some beautiful words to describe devotee care. Radha Gopinath Prabhu, our senior godbrother, we were sitting with him and he said, devotee care, everything that we teach could be summed up, and he said in one word, and that one word is up on this board, sensitivity. Because sensitivity includes all of these. He said we have to become sensitive to the needs, interests, and concerns of the Bhagavad Gita, of each individual. You are amazing. I just can't even describe. They should clone this gentleman and give one of them to every ISKCON center in the world.
Trademark, yes.
Trademark. If we pay a price, right? Okay, so next question. Okay, I don't know how easy it will be to erase this, or just write smaller on the side. So, why do you think devotee care is important? Yes, Prabhu.
They're actually family. They're family.
Devotees are family. Okay, family, one word, beautiful. Family. Someone else, why is devotee care important? Yes. Yes, we already said, actually, very nice.
Yeah.
Because they are dear to Krishna. Anyone else? Why is devotee? It seems a little like
Obvious.
obvious, yeah. Anyone else? Why is devotee care important? One more, yes.
It is important to stay, as I said earlier, that in an organization, like when we have these relationships and everything, care is the foundation. So unless we have care, it is very easy for us to lose our members. If we don't have that ongoing relationship and that strong, that's really what it is. Commitment, right? We see the same, like Prabhu said, family.
Yes.
So it's the same thing. This is an extended family for ours.
Beautiful, beautiful. Yes, Srila Prabhupada really wanted it to be a family. Many of the pioneer devotees described that you were looking for what the third one is. Yeah, you couldn't write all that? Come on, I thought you were better than the king. No, just put keeping devotees. Yes, so valuable. Okay, yes.
The philosophy takes time to sink in, but if you give them a good experience, then that will stay with them for the whole lifetime.
Yeah, it's amazing, the philosophy. You know, sometimes devotees, they hear a good class, and they say, God, that was a great class. And you say, what was it? And they say, I don't know, it felt good. Like, it's about feeling for a lot of people.
But this point is really nice. Just quickly, that when I was starting to read Prabhupada's books, my parents were quite strict. So it was just go to school, come home, go to school, come home. And so I was reading them for several months, like 6 months. I was chanting and reading. When I took my first step into the temple, I never experienced what I was seeing in the books or in the Back to Godhead magazines. I didn't experience that. And I was sitting by myself in the corner and everyone just walked past me. And I was invisible. I was really, truly invisible. And it's interesting that it took a couple of weeks or so for someone, it was probably a disciple actually, who said Hare Krishna and spoke to me and he was kind, and that kept me going for 25 plus years. but that seed of just speaking. And it's true that philosophy is one thing, but yeah, if you don't experience this, you're not going to be around. Yeah.
Yeah, in one sense, in one sense, and we discussed this at the North American Leaders Gathering Convention, that we can continue to make devotees, but the challenge will be how to keep them. And our experience as mentors in many years is new people are like small children. And they're a sponge, they soak up, they're eager. But small children grow to be teenagers. And it's the teenage years that make or break. It's the years where you're like, I don't want to listen to you anymore. I'm my own person. I have to find my own identity, right? We were all teenagers. I don't know if teenagers in India are as bad as teenagers in the West, but teenagers, nevertheless, it's a growing pains, so many things. And to help and be there to support and encourage and nourish devotees in their teenage years will be really the determining factor of will they be devotees in their adult years, like adult years, metaphorically. Okay, so next, yes, Prabhuji. What is your name, Prabhu? No, behind you.
Pranahari Das.
Pranahari Prabhu.
I'm
yes.
sorry, I just wanted to give a reflection on the last question.
Yes, please.
If we have time. Just replacing the word, you said, why is devotee care important? If we replace devotee care with sensitivity towards devotee king in regards to culture of spiritual world.
Uh-oh, we've got one that doesn't work, so can you pass him the blue?
Sorry, the mic's giving me some problems. It's culture of the spiritual world, spiritual culture. So if we're trying to ourselves be invited or participate and serve in that association of our gurus, the acharyas, spiritual personalities, then taking on that culture of sensitivity, because everything's very subtle. The soul is subtle, Krishna is subtle, the exchanges of loving reciprocation are very subtle. So one has to be very sensitive to the needs of the pastime or the needs of devotee. Not to get too esoteric, but I'm just saying it's the culture actually of devotee of the spiritual world.
Yeah,
that's all.
Beautiful. Srila Prabhupada in different places, he refers to it as the creation of a Vaikuntha atmosphere. He says it's the atmosphere of the spiritual world. To love and care for, look after devotees, to have these beautiful dealings. Very nice. So now we're going to ask,
what are the reasons for a lack of devotee care? Well, Prabhu's already in there.
Hare Krishna. Yeah. So, devotees, sometimes we consider devotees to be non-humans sometimes. Like, what I meant with that is like, okay, you are a devotee. That means you are above the material sufferings, pains and all that. So we forget that they are also human. They go through ups and downs in life.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
I remember I was covering reception in ISKCON London, and an elderly devotee came in, and she was coming regularly on Sundays. And when she came in, I sneezed, and I said, "Oh, excuse me." And she was like, "Ah." And I said, "Is everything okay?" And she said, "Even you get sick?" And I was like, "What do you mean even I get sick?" And she said, "But you're a devotee." And I said, "I still have a body." But it's like that. So this is a very, very powerful point. Sometimes we think devotees are beyond it all and they don't suffer. but they don't have any likes or dislikes in experience. Very nice point. Someone
Suffer,
else?
and also like they're beyond the modes of doing anything wrong,
Yeah,
like a judgmental kind of.
very nice, very good, yes. Yes, Mother Chamuhini.
Prana Prabhu said, it's a cultural, sometimes it's a lack of empathy or failing to recognize someone's individuality. Could be a reason, and just assume that everything is like an assumption, that everything is okay, you don't need, we are here, and whatever. So we sometimes feel like whatever, I'm doing it, so what, I'm going through the same thing. So we don't have that lack of empathy sometimes,
Yes.
or sympathy.
Lack
If
of
not
empathy.
sympathy,
Yeah.
Nice. Lack of empathy, yes.
So it's basically the importance of why devotees are important. Like people lack, like devotees in general lack, because the tendency is that, which I've seen, is that I am doing my own bhakti, I will serve my Guru Maharaj, and I'm going back home, back to God. So that's the mission, right? So I don't need to serve devotee. Like, yes, I'm serving them because it's a way to serve. It's a way to associate. It's a way to Krishna. It's not the thing.
It's a means to an end.
Yeah, and then
Instead of
someday I'm going to get rid of these devotees and I'll be happy. so
Thank you for being honest. It is true. People think
and the
like this.
association is taken as a means. It's not the thing.
Yes.
Because I might not like somebody, so I have to just tolerate because Krishna won't like it. Okay, but I really don't care about that person.
Yeah.
Bhakti Tirtha Maharaj, we won't get too far into it, but he has these three powerful points that he displays about community, and he says that we should act that with every interaction, our entire spiritual life depends on it. Every interaction that we have with a devotee, our entire spiritual life depends on it. That's how we should act. Someone else would like to share some reasons for a lack of devotee care? Ego. Yeah, it's pretty simple, isn't it? I, me, and my. Right? I am what? I'm more superior, yes. How can I care or serve when I should be the one getting served? Yes. So anyway, there are many, and on the devotee care course, there's a whole section where we discuss this quite in depth, and these are the top 5 answers of about 50 to 75 senior devotees around the world. They said why has been, or is often a lack of devotee care. First one is self-interest or a lack of empathy. Short-term vision and disregard for the consequences. Wrong priorities, a failure to see the need for devotee care. It's a means to an end. A lack of individual empowerment, which is an interesting thing. Reason for inadequate devotee care is that we don't often empower others. Srila Prabhupada was the most profound empowerer of people. And I love how Vaisheshika Prabhu, he always speaks of fanning the spark. Prabhupada would see a spark in someone, immediately he would start to fan it and just empower people. And inadequate professionalism, which also sounds a little like, how's that work? But sometimes we can see that centers are always in a state of emergency. It's true, it's like that. There's a lack of organization. Now the other side is devotees also complain that sometimes it can be too professional. So there has to be a balance. It's not that when it becomes professional it lacks bhakti or lacks devotion. But sometimes things are just so always in a state of emergency that we're always on the edge in different ways. Anyway, these are big topics. So we're going to discuss this. Anyone here has heard of the spectrum of care? So when we go to different places, when we ask about what is care, often people say three things. Care for those who are sick, care for those who are old, and care for those who are about to die. That's how people see, when we say devotee care, when they hear, oh, they're coming to talk about devotee care, oh, we're going to open an old age home. Oh, they're going to teach us how to do palliative care. This is the mentality. But actually, there is a whole spectrum of care, and it starts with 12 areas. Can you see that?
Spiritual life. Yeah, you can see the healthcare, marriage, sex and relationships, child rearing and child care, education, career and employment, financial, housing and travel and immigration, consumer and lifestyle, legal and mediation.
So usually the first three people are like, okay. Second three, yes, starting to fade into, wait a minute, what about all of these other things? But if we think about it, all of us probably, either ourselves personally, have to deal with some of these things. Yes? Financial, anyone here is a multi-billionaire, doesn't even think about finance? Even if you're a billionaire, you're always thinking about finance. So financial issues are always a challenge. Housing, anyone here? Challenges with housing. Legal, immigration, all of these things. Devotees, you either know devotees or there's always something that people are dealing with in these different areas. So like that. So this is not, and this is a long list that explains it a little more in depth, each one. So this is not an exhaustive list, but it's considered by the international team who developed the Devotee Care course that this is at least a good compass to look at how are we balanced in our community by looking after these needs. Some communities may not have certain needs, but I think all of the areas are required in most communities. Then there's also the recipients. There's 12 recipients of care.
So there's women, cows and bulls, brahmanas, children and the youth, the elderly, brahmachari communities, grihastha communities, vanaprasthas, sannyasis, other temple residents, leaders and
senior
devotees.
So, again, most of these things would be recognized as members. Probably in your community here, you have many of them, maybe not all of them, but you were just with the sannyasi, you have senior devotees, you have leaders, you have grihastas, yeah, I saw you have some brahmacharis, so you have all of these different people. So this is also an explanation of this list. But if you take the 12 areas and you take the 12 recipients and you lay them over top of each other, what you get is an immense matrix of care. Because every recipient will relate to the 12 areas differently and uniquely. Does that make sense? So the point being that it's not like one size fits all, or paint with one brush and it all fits. It means that it's going to be unique, that needs the interests and the concerns of every individual. So if we have this as a guide, as a matrix to help us understand how to look at how we can try to serve the devotees to the best of our ability. And it may not necessarily be that all of these areas are done by the temple. And this is a really important point because we're not the International Society of Temples for Krishna Consciousness. We're the International Society for Krishna Consciousness, which means we're meant to develop a social structure. We're meant to have a society, and within the society, we look after each other. It's not that all the weight of the responsibility lies on the temple president or temple manager to make sure that I know how your finances are, I know how your family life is, I know what your travel and immigration problems are, I know everything about what's going on in your world. Maybe you could know that for a few people, but no way you can know it for more than 12, 13, 14, 15. So like that, it means everyone has all of these needs and everyone will need assistance. So if in our communities we can build and grow areas of expertise to assist and to help the devotees, then that's what should be happening. And we see that there are other spiritual communities, religious communities who have done this sort of thing where they really look after each other and look after themselves.
So a question for you. How do you feel a focus on devotee care could improve your yatra or your temple or community?
There's also I want to caveat this question because from what we've seen and understood, you already have much care going on in this community. There's already so much care here. And that's clear. So please don't take this as if we're saying there's no care here, so what are you going to do?
Yes.
But in some communities, you'd be really surprised. They have families, they have no infrastructure for looking after the children. There's so many things that are lacking. But here there are many things that are already in place. So those achievements are to be celebrated. But if more of a focus is created. So we'll leave this as a question unless someone has an answer. Yes?
As I said earlier, it will just improve our engagement and retention, and also invite more people because they'll see how everybody is taken care of.
Yes.
It's just going to invite more people into the society.
Beautiful. Yes. Very nice. Yes, Mother Shama, it's either you or your husband. You decide.
Yes, although we have under different umbrellas, we'll be having devotee care with different programs like Invest in Our Children's Initiative, Women in Krishna Consciousness, Invest in Our Community, etc. So, but there's always room for improvement, and we're always welcome the opportunity to refocus, regroup, and refocus. And now that you're here, actually, this is a very good opportunity for all of us to probably bring all those initiatives under an umbrella of devotee care and see now who else is willing to step in and say like, okay, now we need to build a fort in these programs. And I have to say, this will not be possible without the support of the management. And our temple president has been one that for many years has been there. So, because for many yatras, if we want to implement devotee care, we have to have them on board. Otherwise, it doesn't work. So there's always room for improvement.
Haribol. Mother Premadatri Devi Ki.
Yeah.
Haribol.
This situation, ideally, if it is followed, very good. But there is a tendency to be taken advantage of this situation by people who can manipulate the situation and project themselves as a recipient of everything. And, and then you get tired of this. This person is like, just projecting himself for, receiving this, receiving that, this monetary benefit, that thing. So how do you draw the line there?
Yes, very nice. So if I understood you correctly, the point is that there may be people in the community who just want to take and don't necessarily want to give. Yes. So it's not that it should necessarily be a free-for-all, although sometimes you have to give. If you raise children for many, many years, they just only take. They don't really give much. Well, they give a hard time. So we often, some people, imagine, I think, what Prabhupada did. oh God, he gave and gave to some people that certainly were not, I mean, you think, were they worthwhile recipients of the mercy? Can you imagine how many people must have come through 26 Second Avenue that Prabhupada personally served prasadam, that he personally cooked and personally offered to? Who here would love to receive prasad that Prabhupada personally cooked and offered? I mean, can you imagine? And how many people Prabhupada must have given that mercy to? So sometimes you do have to just give. But at the same time, there also has to be some boundaries. And even Srila Prabhupada, people, if they were too crazy, what's the famous quote? He says, our temples are not places for lazies and crazies, So like that. So it means there has to be some boundary. But still, even for the lazies and crazies, we go out in the street and chant and dance and distribute prasad. But to live in the temple is not the right place. So there still has to be some boundary. And, sometimes we may have to, what Prabhupada said, we have to call a thief, or we have to just draw those boundaries. But this is an important point that, we can, and this is a fear with devotee care, that we open ourselves up to be taken advantage of and exploited. Exactly. So we're almost out of time, and I'm going to quickly go through a few. This is just a GBC resolution. We heard earlier that they endorsed this course, which is devotee care course. The idea is to empower ISKCON communities to better embed devotee care. As it gets late, we're all thinking, yes, I would like to be in bed. But the devotee care course is about embedding devotee care in the community, not putting devotees in bed. So we're going to quickly finish. And this is just some information about the devotee care course. I'm plugging it because it's something we've discussed about coming back to do and spend time with all of you. And it ends with helping to create a strategic plan of whatever area you want to implement more clearly in your community. So it's quite practical. And then also, I think something that you probably have already, which is like a devotee care office, a more official and formal place where devotees are clearly, just like at a temple you have a pujari department, you have the sankirtan department, a finance department, you have all these different departments. So in all of our temples it's felt that there should be also a devotee care office, a devotee care department. So like that. Yes, so we'll take any reflections that anyone has. And if anyone would like to follow or see any of the things that we've been working on internationally, then you can also do that. And that's it. So we finished 2 minutes early. I don't know if anyone has any reflections or questions, chastisements. Probably everyone just wants to be in bed.
So thank you, Prabhu, for such a wonderful class. And usually Maharaj explains in his classes that, how we should interact, how we should deal with devotees. But it's like spiritually also we have, there's some lacking in understanding, like we discussed, that we don't understand as devotees as important. Even though it's there in the Shastra, it's there out there, but we just want to go back home. By hook or by crook. The middle, take any route. And serving devotees is like the route which we don't want to. So thank you for doing so much, taking so much effort in establishing this. Thank you.
Thank you. Ananta Chaitanya Prabhu.
Thank you so much. This was very informative. I think the 12 areas that you shared, that was news to me. Because I have always just focused so much on the spiritual part of it, or even caring means there was a limit to health and wellness and all of it, but going on to that immigration and all the other areas was never I would have thought. Thank you.
When my wife and I had just gotten married. We were very fortunate. Vaisheshika Prabhu had come to London and he visited, and I took him to the airport when he was leaving. My wife was with me. And I said, Vaisheshika Prabhu, you've been married so many years, still in the mission. Can you please give us some inspiration? Tell us what we can do to become, to be successful in our Grihastha ashram. Anyone here is a disciple of Vaisheshika Prabhu? Okay. You might know what he said. Maybe he said the same thing to you. So, he said, you should read the book. And I was like, Bhagavatam, Chaitanya Charitamrita, maybe an esoteric book. He said, you should read the book, The Richest Man in Babylon. And I came from a professional background. I'd already read that book years ago. And I was like, I'm driving the car and I was like, what? I didn't stop the car, but I said, The Richest Man in Babylon, this is like, a book of how to be successful and making money. I said, I thought you were going to tell me to read the Bhagavatam, specifically the third canto, Devotee, pastimes, with Karma Muni, what is this? And he said, most of the problems in married life come because of financial difficulties. And he said, especially in our devotee community, because devotees think you're supposed to be poor. And he said, so my encouragement to you is to think about how you don't have to worry. Look after things in the beginning so that it's okay. I mean, we don't have our own private jet yet, but but the point being that here you have an ambassador of spiritual strength, distributing Srila Prabhupada's books, such a staunch devotee and sincere disciple of Srila Prabhupada, and he understands that actually the struggles are not going to be necessarily with chanting your rounds, but actually making ends meet so that you can chant your rounds. So like that. So anyway, very important points. And that's the knocking of God. Yes? So we're finished. Shayanarti Jai. Thank you all very much. I'm happy you're not in bed and you're here, and we hope to come back again and be with you all at another point in time. Hare Krishna, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki jai.
Hare Krishna. Thank you very much, Prabhu. Very honored to have you here. And again, we will have actually the devotee care soon. We just have to work the schedule with Prabhu's and to have again our seminar back in Phoenix. And we have mentorship. Actually, Ananta Chaitanya Prabhu is also a member of the group that we meet on Sundays with Mother Pramadri. So we have very nice guidance from all of this for ISKCON Phoenix. Thank you so much once again, and thank you all for coming today. Mother Pramadri.
Hare Krishna, Thank you so much, Prabhus, for giving a wonderful class and a taste of what we'd learn when we have our workshops. So thank you so much for presenting it so succinctly. And thank you all for coming, because without you we could not have the program. And very, I think the interaction and what you seem to have imbibed from the small class today, that's very impressive. So thank you all for coming, and we hope to have you soon. And we have many more of people like this, so devotees like this. So let's find a good time, and I'll let Shyamamuni Mataji arrange that. She's the scheduler. So thank you, Shyamamuni Mataji, for arranging both Jayanita Prabhu and Baba Bhakti Mataji to come here and give us this class. And thank you all for coming. I know it's a very short notice, but thank you for making it. And we've had so many back-to-back programs, and we still have some to come from tomorrow. So thank you all so much for your support. Hare Krishna.
Jai.
It's a wonderful, wonderful devotee, very inspiring, always giving.
Jaya Radha Madhav Hari Radha Madhav Hari Radhe. Jaya Radha Madhav Hari Radha Madhav Hari Radhe. Jaya Radha Govinda Radha Govinda Radhe. Radhe Jaya Jaya Madhava Raite. O Radhe Jaya Jaya Madhava Raite. Gokula Taruni Mandala Mahite. Gokula Taruni Mandala Mahite. O Radhe Jaya Jaya Madhava Raite. O Radhe Jaya Jaya Madhava Raite. Damodara Rati Vardhana Veshe. Damodara Rati Vardhana Veshe. Hari Nishkuta Vrinda Vipineshe. Hari Nishkuta Vrinda Vipineshe. O Radhe Jaya Jaya Madhava Raite. O Radhe Jaya Jaya Madhava Raite. Gokula Taruni Mandala Mahite. Gokula Taruni Mandala Mahite. O Radhe Jaya Jaya Madhava Raite. Rushabhanudati Navasashirete. Rushabhanudati Navasashirete. Lalita Sakhi Gunaravita Vishakhe. ललिता सखी गुणरमित विशाखे ओ राधे जय जय माधव दयिते ओ राधे जय जय माधव दयिते करुणां गुरुमयि करुणा भरिते करुणां गुरुमयि करुणा भरिते सनक सनातन वर्णित चरिते सनक सनातन वर्णित चरिते ओ राधे जय जय माधव दयिते ओ राधे जय जय माधव दयिते गोकुल तरुणी मंडल महिते गोकुल तरुणी मंडल महिते ओ राधे जय जय माधव दयिते ओ राधे राधे जय जय माधव दयिते हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare Hare श्री राधा माधवरी की जय, श्रीनाथ गोपाल की जय, श्री श्री गौर निताय की जय, श्री जगन्नाथ बलदेव सुभद्रा महारानी की जय, सीताराम लक्ष्मण हनुमान की जय, श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय, पतित पावन श्री गुरुदेव की जय, समस्त गौर भक्त वृंद की जय, निताय गौर प्रेमानंदे हरि हरि बोल, जय जय श्री राधे श्याम, जय श्री राधे।
Hare Krishna everyone, so we'll take blessings and then there's some prasadam that we'll be serving you as well. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna. Have a good evening and we'll see you soon. Hare Krishna. Don't forget we have a home program tomorrow. Actually, we're starting with Srimad Bhagavatam class in the morning by His Holiness Ramapad Swami at 7:35, and then we have an evening program tomorrow at 6:30. And then initiation ceremony and a class on Saturday morning, and home program on Saturday evening, home program on Sunday morning, and temple program Sunday evening, and home program on Monday evening. I think that's about it. Hare Krishna. Oh yes, Vaishnavi reading of Srimad Bhagavatam tomorrow. No, just tomorrow is the last day of the week, Friday, from 4:30 to 5:15. Please join us. They'll also be singing a bhajan tomorrow. Hare Krishna. Take care.
Jaya Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare.
Krishna Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare.
Krishna Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama